Hello, everyone. Over the last decade, technology and globalizations have made worldwide expansion much more affordable, easier to enterprises. However, just because a one single company has the resources to go global, whether or not they can stay global is a question we should all be asking ourselves. According to some studies, a common reason for business failures to keep global is a lack of knowledge and awareness of cultural differences. In fact, as Asia continues to be an engine of global economic growth, a greater awareness of cultural variations as well as familiarity with unique corporate cultures and procedures is required to succeed in these diverse rising markets. That's the reason why I would like to elaborate on this topic doing the business in Asia with a focus on business culture and business etiquette to share some insights about the experience multinational companies have operating in Asian market. So before going into this main content of the topic of the presentations, so I would like to choose the quotation because I want to illustrate the cultural risks that organizations might face in an ever-changing society nowadays. According to Erin Mayer, today, whether we work in Düsseldorf or Dubai, Brasilia or Beijing, New York or New Delhi, we are all part of global network, real or virtual, physical or electronic, where success requires navigating through widely different cultural realities. Unless we know how to decode other cultures and avoid easy to fall into the cultural traps, we are easily prey to misunderstanding, needless conflict, and ultimate failure. So to start my presentations today, so I would like to share some points and why each Asian country has its own cultural etiquettes and approach. The business in Asia is still founded in, on the same fundamental concepts. In general, Asian business is more concerned with the group than with the individuals. This is due to maybe familiar relationship in Asia. It's different from the United States, I suppose. The business places a greater emphasis on family and kinship than on the individual. If you want to be successful in Asia, you must first ensure that you are willing to put the long hours necessary to get to know the people with whom you will be working. In Asia, signing the contract isn't enough. Only when your Asian business partner is completely willing to trust you, so you will be able to make any further progress. As a result, we will go through and highlight some key topics about the corporate culture and conduct in the 4 stages of the operating business in Asia. Stage number 1 will be the initial step when 2 business partners from different cultures meet for the first time. And the following stage is when they make a social interactions by making a small talk. As a result, if the meeting goes well, as we expect, decision making is a continual phase. Finally, you will most likely be invited to a nice dinner or meal. That is how it's worked in Asia. They want to show you their hospitality while also getting to know you better by hanging out together. So now we're gonna move into the stage number 1, which is initial greeting. This may be cliche, but the first meeting with your Asian clients or partners will almost surely have few concerns about how to bow and how to handshake in the right way. So remember, do not mess around. If you're unsure, start by shaking hands. In recent years, shaking hands has become more frequent practice throughout most of the countries in Asia. If you're confident in what you're doing and not, or about, okay, a not or about, proper pow can be performed at the same time. However, if you haven't been taught how to bow properly, be extremely careful, especially when you are in Japan. You may find yourself being praised in a group, events, or meetings as a ways of greeting you. So in these situations, it's polite to return with a smile and applause. Furthermore, if you are introduced to a group of the people or need to introduce a group of individuals of your own teams, always introduce them in the light, which means that you have to introduce the most senior person first. Okay, let's move on to how to give the business card. The needs of exchanging business card is another crucial business etiquette. On one side, your information should be printed in English, and on the other side, your language should be printed in the local language. When exchanging business cards, there are several rules to follow, such as never putting a stack of cards on the table and inviting individuals to take one. That will be considered as an impolite approach. And never write on another person's business card while they are there. Never put a card in your packed trouser pocket when you just receive it. And remember, if you have plenty of the business cards on hand, so you normally do that, hold your business card in hand when they are regularly traded. And last but not least, when exchanging business card, you should present the card to your counterpart or your client with the both hands. Okay, how you address someone. Always use a person more official titles when addressing someone, especially if it's the first time. This is preferable to address them with like director or mayor, aside from rather than Mr. or Mrs. Aside from the many cultural customs relating to when and how to read in the different countries, the nuance of body language in these regions of the world are significantly more crucial to understand than in most others. Take one as a symbol. Talking with your hands in your pocket is never the good idea when you want to talk with the Asian people. Pointing is also widely regarded as impolite. In many regions of Asia, passing anything to someone with your left hand is disapproved, regardless of whether hands is dominant, since the left hand is considered dirty in some countries. Or if you hold a long period of eye contact, it can be perceived as a hostile or confrontational. Keep your feet on the ground and avoid pointing or touching the top of someone's head. And is this gonna be claimed as dirty if you put your feet up on the table or cross your legs and lay one foot on the opposite knee? All right, that's everything you need to know for the first stage of initial reading. Now we move on into the stage 2, when you try to engage into the small talk. In Asia, business people spend a lot of time, even time and money, cultivating trust and strong relationships with their collaborators and clients. During the first meeting, small talks essential for establishing the rapport and making a favorable first impression. Begin by learning how to pronounce their names correctly, and then practice with reading and basic sentences in their mother language. For example, when you're in Japan, you probably say, Yoroshiku onegaishimasu, which means please treat me kindly for the first time when you were in Japan. About the topic, you should choose safe and cheerful subjects of the conversation for the small talk. Maybe you're gonna talk about sports, you can talk about music, you can talk about travel, hobbies, weather, or even technologies. But the politics and religions are the taboo topics here as they are in other countries. So for the stage number 3, decision making. So if you want to do the business in Asia, you should know who's gonna be the one who make decision. So unlike in individualist cultures where employees are individually responsible for their judgment, decision making in Asian enterprise is highly centralized and typically flows from the top down, giving those with a significant stake in the company control. Except in Japan, where the corporations make collective decisions, most Asian economies use top-down management. In general, teams postpone making choices until they receive clearance from their superiors and establish an agreement also from their superior. And the final stage, when everything goes well, probably your business partner in Asia probably invite you to have meal with them. When it comes to dining etiquettes, several Asian cultures are known for their extraordinary politeness and respect. So you might be surprised to hear that slobbering, make a sound when you're eating, is frequently considered completely acceptable. In Japan, you express your gratitude to your noodles by slapping them loudly. The louder, the better. Subs and burp are used in China to indicate that you love your dinner and to appreciate for the chef. But in South Korea, it is considered impolite to slurp or chew with your mouth opened, as it is in the Western society, I guess. Another common Asian tradition is sharing food. Most Asian homes enjoy preparing a variety of foods and sharing them together as a large table. When eating out, it's customary to order a few main meals and share them all rather than ordering individual dishes. It's also a terrific way to assemble everything, right? You should also brush up the eating etiquettes of the country you're visiting, as each Asian country has its own set of the customs. In China or Japan, for example, you should never leave your chopsticks in your bowl standing up. And this is comparable to funeral custom. When you're done eating, simply set your chopsticks to the side of the table on the special chopsticks rest. All right. Most of the Western companies will treat Asia as if it were a single company. However, the region's people and culture are extremely diverse. To be successful in each country, you must be aware of the distinctions. Instead of imposing your own techniques, keep a feeling of curiosity and be open to learning from the diverse problem solving and decision making processes. This will help you not for your company, but it will also foster trust and respect among your business partners. In today's global market, businesses have to start thinking about the risk of doing business in Asia and start thinking about the risk of not doing business in Asia. As a cultural knowledge seems from experience, there's no substitute for expert local advice. Surround yourself with insiders who have deep experience in your target markets, who can help you navigate the landscape and who can stop you from making the preventable mistakes. That is all I would like to share with you today. What you need to be concerned before doing business in Asia in terms of the culture and etiquette. Thanks for listening and hope your day great as you are. Thank you.